I definitely love those. That moment when, I don't know, she goes, they're like outside Maria's home and they have that like interaction where she's just like, I don't know, what you've been through now, but like, I can tell you who you were and everything. Like, and she's like, that was really touching.
Yeah.
I will throw it back to like Aubrey though, that like in that moment where, it feels like Maria's telling her who she is and what she can be. And like, I don't know. I really don't think we got a chance to see that fully. So it was more like telling us than showing us.
Oh yeah,
but she told her that like she was already strong. She was like, you were already a strong person before you had your superpowers. And I even got that like when they showed like her getting back up. Like,
but the montage, they just show us that like they don't spend a lot of the movie like pushing her down. Like she's already like up there with this power. So you didn't see her go through like these particular struggles. You see it all in like a quick flashback,
a little montage, which is a little basic too. Well, I mean, obviously we get those, that like very classic, and it is set in the 90s, right? So like this very classic like gender roles, like you gotta get back up, girl and power. Show them boys, like it's very 90s, so I guess that fits the setting of it.
Listen to her, because like even like Jude Law, like every time like she had a suggestion, even before she got separated, he was like, no, we'll do it this way, and she was like, I think we should do it this way. So it's like she didn't have a voice, so like she was kind of held back subtly, like within her own faction.
But talking about her whole history as being like in the Air Force and the fighter pilot, like is what the montage is about. And like everything that she kind of overcame with that, it just is a very basic like
theme.
Yeah. As far as gender dynamics.
I agree with that, but I did love it.
I still did feel that like, the first time you watched A League of Their Own, that was very like what they really do have. It's like she's playing baseball, like that's what it reminded me of.
It was just so much fun, and like I feel like it's totally acceptable. Like what we were talking about. It's a comic movie. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Like it's still lighthearted. And of course they have these. It's not like a super deep dramatic movie. So like yes, I've seen that theme before, but didn't bother me at all.
And because it resonates. Like it may be not the deepest, but it's because that's something that we've all felt. So it's. I think that's why it works for a lot of people and is still important.
I think this is a nice segue. Speaking about, just being a girl, into what I wanted to jump to next was, what did you guys think of like the tone, the 90s nostalgia, specifically some of the music scenes? Like they played, No Doubt, Just a Girl, and that fight scene after she sort of releases her power dampener and like fully like finds her powers and is just starting to play around with them and figure out like what they are and like her potential, and they definitely played that song. I thought it was a huge nod in that direction. What did you guys think of the songs?
I thought they were
music choices.
I actually loved those choices. That was like maybe one of my favorite parts. And like the fact that this movie didn't take itself too seriously as a comic book movie is like, hey, we're here to have fun. We're going to play some music and some awkward times, but it's kind of stylistically enjoyable.
She had a Nine Inch Nails shirt on.
Yeah. Well, and then the other thing for me too, like nostalgia wise, obviously it was very nostalgic, but like that's what I would have been listening to when I was reading comics, like all the time, when I was like 14. So like all of those song choices were very like
TLC.
So for sure. No Doubt, they were very like, especially back then, like they were very like ampy, so it would get you amped. So it's like in your
No Doubt like, Forever.
It's like the perfect song, to play like during a fight scene.
Yeah, no, that was a perfect choice, I thought.
I did like all the music. I really did. It was a little hard to wrap my brain around that it's a throwback. And so I was like,
because you were young.
Yeah, I'm like, this doesn't feel that far removed from me. And then I felt really old. But, no, I do think the song choices, the soundtrack worked really well. There were times where it was like, almost felt contrived.
Yeah.
Like, too forced.
Yeah, but like this was a popular song.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's kind of how I felt about like Just a Girl. Like grew on me because I fucking love No Doubt.
Right.
But like that song at that moment, like felt a little bit like that to me. But you know, as you guys were saying, like it is a movie just here to have fun. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of like,
Meh.
yeah, all right, like I'll go with this.
It's like,
Now,
that
some
a
of,
cherry bomb. You know? I guess they put cherry bomb. You know, like there's
some
like
of the product placement, though, I did think was like way too heavy-handed. Like, we get it. She's in a Blockbuster. You guys remember what that is? Let's show the logo a couple more times in case you forgot. Like, it was just...
they were everywhere.
Yeah.
What did you think of the? So this is set in the 90s. Samuel Jackson is now old, so
yeah,
it doesn't
young face.
look like he did back then. So yeah, what did you guys think of the de-aging technology? Did it bother you at all? Did you notice? Like what?
It was
I mean, of
subtle.
course you noticed.
It was,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like weird.
I think
mean,
I
it wasn't
noticed it like at first, and I was like, "Oh, they did a thing," but then it wasn't like it took me out of the movie at all.
Yeah.
After it,
Was it Kurt Russell and Guardians of the Galaxy 2? He looked horrible.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah,
why
that
is your
was not
face
good.
bigger? He's like when he was younger, it's like, when did you get a square face, man? You look like Buzz Lightyear.
Even
Like,
I
you
think
know, like-
one of I don't know if it was the first time they did it, but I think it was in Avengers: Age of Ultron, maybe. Tony Stark they
Yeah.
de-aged.
Oh yeah.
Whenever
that was
he
weird.
does this presentation, I'm like, what is
Yeah,
going
about-
on? I do not like this. What is happening to your face?
Exactly.
And it was for a
They're
moment
getting
in
better at
time.
it.
But
They're
Yeah.
getting better because like it
Definitely.
wasn't like where, because like you said, it wasn't like where I'm like, why am I looking at your face like that?
Yeah.
You know, or even like Superman's like
mustache
removal,
cover.
and it was like, why are your lips not going all the way up, man? You know, it's like, is something wrong with it? It's like, oh, you get a CGI off. Like, you don't get that from
No.
Samuel Jackson's face.
I agree, and I it didn't bother me, but the only thing I hate about stuff like that is that it really hurts like how evergreen a movie can be. You know what I mean? If you look at like CGI from 5 years ago, it was the best CGI at the time. We
Yeah.
thought it was
Yeah.
awesome at the time, and you watch it now and you're like, that looks
Ugh.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, and so like any rewatch, it just stuff like that really hurts, I think.
That's fair. I just watched Inception the other again.
wow.
And like I remember at the time you were like, "Whoa,
This is amazing.
and that, like rewatching it, like just shit exploding from the sides of the building. You're like, "What's going? This is so terrible."
Right. Well, and like all of those things, I always think of like how amazing I thought the graphics on the N64 were. You
Yeah.
know?
Look at those
I remember
square
being like,
pixels.
this is incredible.
I can see every single one.
Yeah. So, like, they almost have faces now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Oh, that's good stuff. So we haven't talked about yet, but I want to talk about Talos a little bit because so that's the main scroll dude.
Oh yeah, he was great.
Played by Ben Mendelsohn. And I thought he was amazing. His humor was just so subtle, and I don't know, like to me, I think whenever I laughed out loud in the movie, it was because of him.
Yeah, he was great.
Like you just like walk in, you know, this alien scroll creature that you're
You know, like the popsicle or something?
it, like walked in like with a milkshake and
Oh,
just
like-
like slowly slurping on it,
Yeah.
you know, and you're just like the subtle things were great. Or when somebody asks them to like they're trying to like figure out his shape shifting techniques and ask him about if you can turn into a cabinet, and he just kind of like looks at him like,
That's a stupid
Why?
question.
Like,
Yeah, it's like
that's-
it's a stupid question. He's like, why would I turn into a cabinet? He had that
Yeah.
like, why would I turn into a fucking cabinet?
That felt really in line with the Marvel humor to me, which was enjoyable to have that.
It's just like, if you just like turned around and you saw a cabinet in a hallway just by itself, like,
Yeah.
why is that cabinet there? You'd be like, is
mean,
that
I
cabinet in the middle of a
would.
highway? It'd be like, because even if you could, like, now you're just gonna jump by a wall and be like, you know, like, you probably wouldn't have time.
and they weren't like forced, I guess, because there's a lot of like the Marvel humor that are like forced lines that are
Yeah.
just like these punchlines that like maybe children enjoy, but like as adults, you're not really like.
You know, I hated
So his
all
felt
the
a little bit
force.
more like easygoing and natural, I guess.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
see 4? Like, was it Ragnarok? Like,
Oh,
everyone's like,
yeah.
because he was like, let's do the get help trick. I'm like, god damn it. Like, and I saw it coming a mile away. I'm like, first of all, that's not this character, and it wasn't funny. Like, you throwing Loki, who you shouldn't like that much, into people isn't funny. But
I felt like most of Thor Ragnarok was like these just
bad
one-liners.
jokes.
Like
Yeah.
everybody thought it was funny, and I was like, it was a fun movie, but like.
It wasn't funny. He's like, I know that guy. I work with him. It's like, okay. But, like, the Hulk is still there to whoop your ass.
But
And he didn't even whoop his ass. And it was like, I'm like, wait, underplayed the Hulk, but that's a whole nother thing.
But back to the scroll thing, I did like also that was like thematically kind of a 90s sort of storyline too, you know, like we don't have to be enemies, we can be friends.
Yeah.
Like that felt very 90s, but in like a nice way.
Well, it felt very nuanced too because they the entire time. Cause I even felt this way like at the very beginning. The squad was there and the Asian Cree who was like a sniper.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and like that dude was there. Like he had the drop on her. He could have shot her at any
Minerva?
time.
Jimmer
Yeah.
Chan, yeah.
No, like the dude who could, but the dude she killed, like he could have died, or he could have shot her at any point in time. And they kept saying like, "Oh, these shapeshifters are killers."
Yeah.
but you never saw
But
them
they
do
never
it.
did.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
and
it's
even
like-
like when they caught
That's
her,
a really
like,
great
and
point.
she broke out, they were like, "Capture her." They never said kill her. And even when they got there, they were like, "We have to find her." It was always like, "Hey, we have to find her and get her," but it wasn't, "Oh, hey, we need to kill her."
Yeah.
you know, like. But they kept saying these people were killers, and you found out they weren't.
Yeah,
Which I thought
and
was
the
really
being
good.
a refugee looking for a home, you know,
Exactly.
a little timely too.
I do, so like just thinking about the future of Captain Marvel or the Marvel Cinematic Universe, why I think they thought this was going to be a big reveal that the Skrulls end up being like just these refugees looking for a home, is because the Skrulls are some like bad dudes in the comics and they're, you know, one of the major like villain characters. So I'm kind of curious if they're going to bring that back anyways. Like I think they left it, you know, with like there's kind of these like factions of Skrulls. So I was like might be possible that they can come back and do like the Skrull invasion.
Oh, yeah.
But cuz at first after they were good guys, I was just like, "Well, how are you going to do the Skrull invasion now?"
Yeah.
Because
Because we like them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, there's always what is it? Just like you and me, like, there's good people and bad people from every tribe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
just
Skrulls
because
and bad
honestly,
Skrulls,
because
yeah.
they could be like, hey, the
And they're
Kree
spread
could
out
be like-
all over,
yeah.
so you
Right.
know, who knows?
Because just because like everyone else is say like 80% of their people are assholes and they do go over and they conquer planets, but some don't, you're gonna kill them all, or just like because they were trying to exterminate them, period. You know, and find out where the other ones were who were just hiding in that inside of or outside of Earth's orbit. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like, and they were just trying to find a sanctuary. So it's
Right.
like, it's one thing to go after people who are assholes and conquering places, but if those people, but people of those same people aren't doing that, does that give you a right to go out and kill them just because you're at war? But he even said, like, you know, like, both of our hands are dirty to Carol to Carol.
Like,
you know?
yeah, they've
he's
done
like,
some
he's like, this
bad
is
stuff.
war. You know, it's like nobody's innocent, nobody's 100% a good guy. You know.
And I don't know if it was, this has nothing to do with anything, but just as a funny aside, I don't know if they mean to do it or if it's just the nature of the Skrulls, but have you guys heard the conspiracy about lizard people?
Yeah.
What, you mean in real life or in
Like,
the
yeah, like in real life, like-
David Icke.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is
Oh my
an apt
God.
last name, if I
Yeah.
may say so myself.
Icky?
Yeah.
His name's Icky?
Yeah,
Like,
he
this is like
genuinely
Icky.
believes that there's these lizard alien
Yeah,
people
like
that are
the leaders of our government
Like
are
the
actually lizard
Illuminati.
people, yeah.
No, people
It's
think our Earth is
hilarious.
flat, man. I'm not surprised. by
It's so
anything.
funny. But then here you are, like, they actually are kind of lizard people in plain sight.
It's like,
I
oh,
was-
yeah.
that
was funny.
transform
Yeah.
into human
Into
looking
humans,
people.
exactly. I know.
Yeah.
It was funny.
I was gonna ask you guys what you thought of the makeup.
I thought
Ooh,
it was good.
great, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a little hokey, but in a
Mm.
way that I liked. Of like, this is a kids movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought-
a comic book, you
Right.
know.
I thought, like, what is it? The Kree. Very interesting. Because, like, they were, like, some were blue tint, some were just regular people. You know, like, so they were, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Jude Law was white. The other actor, the white guy, he was straight black. They had, like, that white guy who was, like, looked Irish. And then they had, like, the Asian woman kind of bluish. Some people had blue tint. Some people had, like, this multicolor. So it was, like, and I felt like all the Kree were supposed to be blue. Like, they're just, like, plain blue.
No, well, I mean, Marvel, like in the comics, and Yanrog were our skin color, like white dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like not all of them are blue. So I think that's why, like, because you see on the trains and stuff, like not all of the people on the train were blue, and they did have like a mix match throughout there too. So I don't know what the reason behind that is.
I mean, it
in
wasn't
the
bad thing, it was an
lore,
interesting
but-
thing. It was
I'm
like, I thought it was
guessing
very
there's
interesting.
there's some
It wasn't bad.
etymology of the Kree where, like, and I'm wondering, I should research more into it because I think it'd be interesting. I don't know what kind of, like, history there is in MCU or in the comic books of of the Kree, but like I wonder if they had done what they did with Carol Danvers to more
Like,
people, you know, like